Again, thank you, Lorraine and Aine, for incredibly informative presentations on the state of housing in this country. Time is charging on us, and it flies when you're having fun. But we do have some time for some questions and answers, so I would ask people to be brief in their questions.
I would like to ask Lorraine if they have, in Balgadi, you've collected any way that others can collect similar information. So in other words, you've obviously done a lot of photography work and trying to catalogue all of these problems. Is there ways that you can tell other people how to do that and to get those issues on?
Yeah. Well, we'll take a couple of questions, okay, Lorraine, if that's okay. Any other questions?
To corruption and speculation, and we're all kind of very familiar with those words. Aine touched on something. She mentioned how money that was earmarked for traveller accommodation did go to traveller accommodation. And Lorraine, I've heard you speak before in relation to this issue, where money that was earmarked for the community, one community, working class community, went elsewhere to another community, you know. So that kind of thing, where it's one thing that we're all talking about corruption and speculation, but money by councils, and looking again, you know, in relation to the development plan. You look at the county development plan for 2010 and 2016 and see what that pans out. It's a wonderful plan. You're full of probably nothing more than aspirations, but how it works out in reality.
Just a brief, Eddie Walsh, UPA branch. Just a brief question for Lorraine. When you were canvassing in the local elections, did you find that a lot of people were not registered who might have voted for you in the sort of people you were after, a lot of them were not on the electorate?
No, not an awful lot of them, because I suppose our county council was quite forward in our working class areas, where there was somebody out for, he was knocking at the door constantly till he got the details. So the lists were quite good. A lot of people, most people were registered. Younger people, you know, you had to try and encourage them to register. Their parents kind of pushed them to register as well. Well, this time round they did, because, you know, they want their kids to vote. Do you know what I mean? They want democracy to be used. But a lot of people from foreign nationalities and from the traveller community, and maybe people that would have never thought of voting or never voted before. Like, there was a certain range of people who had never voted in their life that voted particularly for me. Do you know what I mean? And I have said I wouldn't have went out and voted for anybody else, but just because you're local and you're a Workers' Party, and it's, do you know what I mean? You're highlighting I suppose issues for that they could relate to, that, you know, affected themselves and their own lives. So I don't think it was a big barrier.
Maybe we're not.
We were working or a candidate out in Northern Dublin, it was Friday, and approached by a number of women. They were being evicted, their daughters evicted from a private accommodation. There was 12 of them, and I spoke to two of them, two of the daughters, and they're setting up a meeting with us. Lorraine this week, but I just wonder if these houses that have been evicted was built by Dublin Corporation. They were handed over for nothing to South County Dublin. They were sold to a private landlord. So it now gives the people in them, correct the rent for them, I think it's 56 years, 58 days notice they have it. And 12,000 sold a lot in England. Now, I don't quite understand. I'm only talking about the tell that it's trying to sell on council housing.
It's a clawback with the ability when it passes that in.
But in the crazy corporation, private landlord and then eviction.
Yeah, I think one of the things that the party does have a good history on is again talking about this corruption and speculation. I think it's quite a few of the images that come up here behind us, and as well to talk about the impact that has had on certain communities. that I think actually Lorraine would be probably one of the best people to talk on this about what the specifics of this have actually meant for certain communities that have, for example, been plonked somewhere and then not having the town centres that were meant to be planned because they ended up somewhere else, or even just having Liffey Valley there off of the road, so actually like the necessity then of having your own private transport to be able to get there. And I don't really want to kind of dwell on it too much because I think it will be kind of dealt with a bit more in the follow-up session. But again, kind of on what Mick is saying about the landlords being able to sell on housing, I think like so people were able to buy out their council houses, and so Ted might actually be the best person to give some more explanation on this. But then there was this other policy that I think was in the last decade of the council would kind of long-term lease housing from private landlords. There aren't actually a huge number of people who are really signed up for it, and I think even Fianna Fáil that brought it in realised that it was just a complete mess and it was just completely transferring wealth over to these private landlords. And I think they have, as far as I understand, they have the same rights to evict as they would otherwise. But maybe Ted would you know more on that? Like,
the last question.
Sorry, just following up from what Mick had said, that when landlords, like for the councils doing the long-term leases of private houses, that landlords do have the same rights to just kick you out as they would otherwise, if you were in private. Yeah. So.
But if I buy briefly, you see there's been a trend. You need to go back well over 20 years with the neoliberal agenda of privatisation. And the crisis now that has been created by privatisation. This government and previous governments and senior civil servants are now totally committed to the destruction of social housing and turn everything privatise everything, privatise private landlords to, like for instance, there was an attempt 2 years ago to sell about 30 voids, that they're called, empty dwellings in Cork City Council stock. The unions, Patsy and people like that on the Cork City Council, they 6 of us went to jail in Cork City against the imposition of service charges. Included in that was water. 96, the government at the time withdrew the water charges, so then the war died down again, but now we have it up again and it's now in full swing, and they're hell-bent on privatising the water, the reservoirs, the lakes, the rivers of this country, and you know we're all involved in that battle, and it's a battle that we will have to fight and we'll have to win, you know. So it's, again, drifting a bit from it, but it's the neoliberal agenda of privatisation, Aine, is what's happening, and don't be surprised,
Thanks for that.
and it has to be stopped.
And your campaign in Balgady has.
Yeah, we couldn't get any kind of acknowledgement, so we decided, well, how do you tell people it's like this? Because, you know, you're exaggerating. People don't have those kind of conditions in new houses. You know, nobody knew there was black fur growing up the wall of a new house. So we decided, right, document it, you know, make a statement with it. And I think when we did start to document it, we were invited to a mayor's meeting with the newly elected county council 5 years ago, and we had all of these posters with, you know, with the conditions of the houses shown. Plus we had their remit, that how they were showcasing these new, you know, 21st century designs, you know, the way forward for, you know, 21st century living and social mixed residential use. So we had a combination of what they were selling to us and the reality with it. So it kind of struck a chord, and they were quite angry. Labour was the mayor at the time, and he was quite angry with us, and he wasn't very nice, and he insulted us like in a room full of people, that how dare we come in here and put them on the floor when we had no basis or backup. So that was another sticking point as well. We got environmental health involved, so they'd come out, be shocked, do out a full report, but by the time that report filtered through the maintenance department and back to the architect's department, there was nothing wrong. Open your window and you won't have condensation. But they weren't just problems with condensation. There were major defects, do you know what I mean? There were major defects in electrical, plumbing, heating, insulation, the roofs, the gutters, you name it. Anything that could have went wrong there. They don't even achieve any of the fire standard regulations. Like they don't even have the 2-metre heights on the stairwells. None of the apartments have fire safety doors. They don't. Even the double glazed windows aren't certified windows. They don't have the gas, the argon gas or whatever the gas is that strengthens them. So there wasn't just one thing. It was just compounded, and 2 estates were developed separately in 2 different areas in 2003, 2004, and the others then came in 2008. So it wasn't as if it was one development that was just done shoddy. It was 4 different developments, different designs, different materials, but the same crew of people. Now those clerical works still work for the county council to this day. Do you know what I mean? So there was no accountability. So they were self-certifying everything. I suppose when we showed the pictures, there was a lot of media interest. So we didn't court the media courted us, and TV3, there was some good exposés on the telly and stuff like that. And we really thought people will get a resolution to this, because look, it's blatant, it's in the Irish Examiner. Do you know, Mick Clifford, Kitty Holland, they had taken, you know, so it was broadsheet, it was out there, it was on the television, but it just seemed to be your working class people, nobody really cares about you, you're in an area that's rubbish anyway. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter whether it was the law, whether it was right or whether it was wrong. So we had to fight, I think, just to say, we had to fight to get funding, to get architectural surveys done. So we had to get professionals out to say I'm a structural engineer and this is the structural report. But of course they were disregarded also, and these people are only looking for jobs. So there's still no acknowledgement. That's the only battle that there is, that there's no acknowledgement.
Okay, thanks, Lorraine. Unfortunately, time is again racing on us, so we'll have to draw to a close the section on solving the housing crisis. And I would like to thank both Lorraine and Aine for the huge amount of information that they have given to us, and also Ted for your contribution to that as well. So thanks, comrades, for